Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new Sheffield United match reaction. Got a smile on my face, but I'm not particularly happy tonight. Um, I've missed going to football. I've missed being disappointed. I've missed losing my voice. And to top it all off, as we were leaving the ground in the car, my missus were driving, just trying to pull out. No one letting us out, trying to pull out. Regan Slater parked bang in front of us, doesn't let us out. Shocking end to the night. Shocking end. Anyway, that's not the worst thing that's happened tonight. We were pretty poor in patches tonight, in big patches tonight. As somebody's already put in the comments, I've just seen how many shots on target. 0. Apparently 0. Norwood played a shocking cross into the box that went on target. But if we're claiming that as on target, we've got problems. We've got massive problems. Anyway, I was absolutely buzzing. I've been buzzing all day long. If it had been a 3 o'clock kickoff, it'd have been over a lot quicker. Now, I've been looking forward to it all day, and I think that's what makes it even more disappointing. I'm not devastated. I'm not going to slate the players. It's not the right thing to do. They played okay. That was it. They played okay. Tiny little bits of magic from Sanderberger. But other than that, just weren't good enough. I'll talk about Sanderberger quite a bit in this video. I've got a feeling because there's some positives and some negatives, but we'll get there. We'll run through the game first of all, obviously. Actually, no. Before we start, I'm going to say this. The referee, I think a lot of people will say this. The referee was absolutely horrific. Now, I don't know if that's because we've been playing in the Premier League for 2 seasons and every time someone goes down, it's a free kick. But we got brought down a lot and a lot of them weren't given. Like the only ones that were given were absolute stone wall free kicks where Sanderberg has gone past the man and he's literally just grabbed his shirt and pulled him to the ground. That really frustrated me. Now, if the shoe was on the other foot and a Birmingham player was doing that to us, yeah, I know, I'd be exactly the same. Bring him down, take a booking. As long as you've not already been booked, take the booking, it's fine. Just stop him from getting forward. So I understand it, but it doesn't stop it from being frustrating. Really frustrating. Again, before we get into some talk about the minor details, what I will talk about is the fact that Birmingham City played this game to an absolute T. It was probably the worst game that we could have started with because, like I said, we've not played a team like Birmingham City in the league for over 2 seasons. There's nobody in the Premier League like Birmingham City. Possibly closest you can say of Burnley. Burnley's got a very good footballing team. They are quite physical, but they're nothing on Birmingham. That's their game. Now, I don't want to sound bitter here. I've just given Birmingham City the biggest credit they could have. They battled really hard. They didn't let us have any time on the ball. They were great in the air. They did what they needed to do, and they did it really well. The chances that they had mostly came from either knockdowns or crosses into the box that we couldn't deal with. And Jukovic, or whatever he's called, just was bossing us in the air. So Birmingham did brilliantly. They played the game perfectly, especially that we've had not a lot of pre-season and also coming off the back of a really poor Premier League season where we lost a lot of games. Confidence is still going to be low because we didn't score many goals last season. Like I say, we lost a lot of games. Confidence is going to be very low, even if it's a new manager, even if it's a new system. And that's another problem that we're having to deal with. The fact that it's a new manager, he's playing a different way, completely different system, different formation, different everything. We're not playing as much down the wings as we probably expected. We are playing down the wings. George Baldock, that ball from Norwood to Baldock was great. Really good every time. That was getting us forward. But we're not playing 1-2s down the wing and overlapping and stuff like that. We expected it. We expected not to. We definitely played through the middle. And I think in the first half, we had loads of chances where Moose and Ollie Burke were getting played through and they were getting in behind. we just weren't doing anything with it. There was only one chance where Ollie Burke hit the post, but that was after their goal. So what I'll do is I'll go back to the goal because at the time I didn't really blame anyone for the goal. Now I've seen it back. The ball wasn't originally closed down quick enough. We all know that. He's just waited on the wing, put it onto his right foot, had a look up, waited. Right, he's running into the box. Let's put it into the box. It was a great ball into a great area. Ben Osborne, not the tallest guy in the world, got caught underneath it. I'm not even blaming Ben Osborne. It was just a very well worked goal because it was a great ball into the box, perfect for him to just run on, head it into the back of the net. Rammers, I'm not even bothered. I'm not even bothered about talking about positioning because I don't think he could get to it. I don't think his positioning was necessarily bad. I think he was right in the middle of his goal. You've got to be able to go both ways. So, yeah, it wasn't exactly right in the corner, but I don't think Rammers had a chance with that one. So it was a very well-worked goal. And I've heard some people saying, oh, a smash and grab. This was not a smash and grab. Birmingham did not smashers and grabbers. No, that's not how it works. But you know what I mean? Birmingham City created way more chances than us. They missed a sitter with Scott Hogan. They had a goal disallowed. I'm not sure if that was somebody next to me said it was handball. Somebody else behind me said it was offside. Think it was offside. Not too sure because I had my head in my hands. I'm like, I can't believe we've gone 2-0 down here. And then as I took my head out of my hands, people weren't as worried. And I'm like, what's going on here? And obviously it was given as a free kick to us for whatever reason. But it was pretty poor, guys. It was pretty poor. The movement wasn't quick enough. The thing was, Birmingham came for a fight, and we weren't up for that fight. We were a pushover in the midfield, and that's what we need to sort out big time. I've not seen Ronaldo Vieira play much. I thought he would have been signed by now. I thought we'd have brought in some wide attacking players if we're going to kind of every now and then change it up, because in the first half we played two up top and then Didsy kind of roaming. That's what I want to see. But if we're going to change it up and then play wingers or wide attackers, Didsy's not a wide attacker. Ollie Burke, still not really sure what he is, because I don't think he's a winger and I don't think he's a striker. Ryan Brewster being pushed out onto the left wing. That's not where he wants to be. Even though I thought he played well, that's not where Ryan Brewster wants to be. He's not come here as a £20-odd million striker to play on the wing. Now, I know that Billy Sharp is incredible and we love the guy. And if he'd have got a chance today, he'd have scored it. I know that Ollie McBurney, he needed to be on earlier to knock him about, because in that first half, Mousse and Burke got bullied. And if we're not playing those through balls like we were, if at some points we're kind of getting pegged back and we're not able to get in advanced areas and slip the ball through, Mousse and Burke are pretty pointless because they're both the same sort of player. Now, I thought Ollie Burke put in a shift, especially in that first half, getting down them wings, getting in behind the defenders, trying to get to that byline as well. I thought he did well. I thought Mousse did okay as well. It's just typical that Mousse got injured yet again, and we probably won't see him for another 3 months, if that. Frustrating, really frustrating. But anyway, what else happened in this game? Like I said, ref had a shocker. Sanderberger got brought down every single time. Absolute blatant penalty at the time. We all shouted for a handball. Well, handball. It looked like it could have been handball. And as a crowd, you shout. Like, I was sat in the south stand, so obviously you're just seeing the side profile of the player, and it looked like he went something like that. So you got to shout for it. Texted my dad, and he said, "Yeah, blatant handball." He's put his arms to the side, and it's hit his arms. The referee didn't see it, and let's be honest, the referee is looking at it. How is that not a penalty? In the Premier League, that is a penalty. So how is it not a penalty in the Championship? It's the same game of football that we're playing. Shocking. Sander also possibly got brought down by, I think it was Chong in the second half. I didn't think there was too much in it. Everyone was shouting and screaming around me, but I didn't see too much in it. I haven't seen it back. They don't. That's the thing with being in the Championship. You're not going to see everything. If we're not on TV or you've been to the match and you want to watch it back, you're not going to see everything 4, 5, 6 times. Or you're going to see, like, I've just watched the highlights just to look for that blatant penalty, that handball, and other little bits to try and just get my facts right. And they didn't show that. Like I said, let me know what you thought in the comments, guys. Harry Holland, I sit in the south stand, Gangway C. So yeah, that was Sander really ran the show for us in very, very small parts of that game, but it was a bystander for a lot of it. And the thing is, I think Sander just needs to get used to the Championship. He just got used to the Premier League, and now he's been thrown into the Championship, playing against a team that are very, very physical, and he didn't know whether he was coming or going. So I think that Sander, he'll obviously keep getting better. Week in, week out, he will keep getting better, and he'll be reaching the standard where, like, he's picking the ball up and he's doing those runs constantly and taking players on. They couldn't touch him. He was so good on the ball. And I think that's all he needs. Earlier in the game, I'm thinking, do we need Norwood and Sander Berge in the same side? Because they're both doing a similar job. But Sander Berge in that second half took the ball by the horns. I think it must have given him a bit of a rocket, because in the first half, Sander Berge wasn't making those runs. Second half, we needed him to step up, and he did in small parts of that second half. But they're the players that you need to create these chances. And yes, he is a 20-odd million pound player. That's what we paid for him, and he is playing the Championship. But if he needs to step up for us like he did today. But we need to be scoring goals. We are desperate for him. Early on in the game, Ollie Burke hitting the post, lovely slide through pass, and he caught the keeper out. The keeper thought he was going to be crossing the ball, or at least trying to put it across him, but tried to find that front post. Unluckily hit the post, nearly landed to Fleck, and couldn't quite. Well, he didn't get anything on it. It went straight past him. I'm a little bit worried with the no shots on target at all game. Didsey had one from distance that the keeper saw wide quite easily in the second half. Norwood had one that went wide that the keeper, I don't know if he had it covered or what, but that went wide. Brewster looked okay down the wing at times, but he don't want to be there. And if we're going to be playing wingers, we don't want to be playing 4 strikers up front. And I thought it needed Jayden Bogle tonight, something a little bit different, something a bit more creative, rather than let's play 4 strikers up top and hope that somebody gets on the end of something. And they could have done tonight, and it could have been a different story, because there were a lot of balls going across the box, going just above Ollie McBurney's head, not falling for us. And it was a really, really frustrating night. I'm not worried. I'm not worried in the slightest. I think we just need to get to know Slav's kind of system, the way he plays football. I picked out one excellently worked move tonight. I'm not sure if anyone else picked up on this. I'm not sure even if they've worked on this, but it was beautiful, because I think it was Osborne played it into Didsey. Didsey played it back. Then Brewster played. Then he played it into Brewster. Brewster played it back, and straight away Didsey and Brewster took 2 defenders out completely because they followed him. And then Ollie Burke made a run through the middle, and it was just a bit too hard from Ozzy, I think it was. If they've been working on that, that is different. That is different gravy sort of like football, because that's something that you'll see from Man City, something you'll see from Liverpool. It's not something that you expect to see in the Championship. That was incredible. But we need to see more of that. And I think as the season goes on, as the players get used to the way that Slav plays football, or we need to bring in a winger. We really, really do. Somebody with a bit of pace, someone with a bit of trickery. Because if we're going to be trying to play 3 strikers or a striker and 2 wide forwards, Ollie Burke, I want to see more of him, because I think he will come good. He's got pace to burn, and I think all he needs is a goal, and he'll get going. But Who else have we got? We don't want to be sticking Brewster don't want to be stuck out on the left wing. If I'm honest, I think we should have moved at least one of them on, because 3 strikers on the bench coming on, and it didn't change a lot. It didn't. We needed to either bring a Luke Freeman on, somebody who's going to sit in the middle and dictate play and try and find those little through balls, because they were just heading balls away for fun, because they're just massive defenders. That's what they want. They want crosses into the box. And when we've only got Ollie McBurney in the box, who's like kind of big and strong, well, sort of strong, they're gonna have him on toast, no problem. So yeah, quite a frustrating night. I will quickly try and bring up the team, because that was one thing that I was going to try and do just before I came on, and I completely forgot. We'll bring up the team and we'll go through it. I'm obviously going to bring up the Sheffield United way team, not the Sheffield United one. So Ramirez in the goal, didn't have a lot to do, conceded 2 goals. I don't think he made a save in this game, if I'm being honest. The header from the goal, no chance. The other one, no chance. He's just trying to make himself big, and he went in the back of the net, but obviously didn't count. Baldock, I thought, had a good game. Again, his final ball, not always the best. Trying to take on their defender, and it's like all this, but then there's not a lot of kind of just pushing it to one side and getting a quick cross in. Not a lot of that at all today, to be honest. Egan was strong, and he must have touched the ball more than anyone else, Egan, because it constantly went back to him, throwing back to him, passed back to him for him to recycle it. But yeah, Egan did well. Robinson, I thought, was a little bit shaky at times, maybe a little bit nervous, but I think Robinson will have a really good season. We might see Bash coming back in the next game. Who knows? I probably would have gone with Bash, but at the same time, I think Jack Robinson will have a good season. And he had an okay game today. Would have liked to have seen a few throws into the box, though, like they were doing to us. But saying that, got a big striker who's going to come back and defend it. They've got some big defenders that are going to be heading the ball away. I'll come on to Norwood and his corners in a second. Actually, yeah, we'll talk about Ozzy. Ozzy, I think, was quite negative tonight. I was surprised at that, because when he's been playing in midfield, he's been really positive going forward. And at left wing back, a lot of the game, he was cutting back, and it almost felt like he was nervous to try and take a player on, especially in the first half. The second half, we had to go for it, so he was going for it a bit more. But in that second half, when you wanted a little bit of positivity, quite a lot of the time, it was cut back. It wasn't a 1-2 or try and set the player on. It was a back. Ollie Norwood, his corners today for me were shocking. Some of the worst corners I've ever seen. And I'm not like, he's taken worse corners before and worse free kicks where it literally is overhit or underhit. But tonight, I feel like the ball being put directly into the keeper's hands is just as bad as not beating the first man, especially when the goalkeeper's really, really comfortable taking the crosses. He was, in the first half, he was taking the crosses that Fleck should have been taking, at corners that Fleck should have been taking, and he was like kind of whipping them out, but putting way too much air on him, and their defenders were just heading him away easily, especially when there's only really Egan and Jack Robinson that are going up for these balls, because there are, I would say, 2 only big players. Sander Berge, that's another thing. Before we get on to how well Sander Berge played in parts, he's a massive, massive man. He's like 6'4", 6'5", something like that. He shouldn't be stood on the edge of the box. Why is he stood on the edge of the box waiting for someone to come out? He is massive. Now, I know he's not great in the air. He shirks a header when it's in the middle of the park. But that goalkeeper, every ball was going into his hands. Sander Berge, bang in front of the goalkeeper. Don't foul him. Just stand him in front. He looked taller than the goalkeeper. Just stand him there. Just put him off. Even if he's not touching the goalkeeper, stand in front of him. Just put him off. The keeper, if he's trying to catch the ball above Sander Berge's head, he's going to struggle. But yeah, Sander, a lot of the game passed him by today, and I think that game will be something where it's like, let's watch the footage again. Let's see what I could have done better, because he was a bystander at times, and I wanted to see more from him. I wanted him to get stuck in. He got bullied a little bit at times, but I think he'll get better with that. He was untouchable when he was going forward, though, getting into that box, trying to get balls across the box. But Birmingham defended incredibly tonight, incredibly. And yeah, all I can say is, well done, Birmingham. Like, we weren't great, we were okay, but we just didn't have that little bit of quality to unlock the door. And really, we didn't create any good chances. Birmingham probably created 3 or 4 better chances than we created in the whole match. Fleck, I'm not even going to talk about Fleck, because he's the only one that I'm going to be negative about. Fleck was pointless. There was no point in Fleck being on that pitch today. He did nothing whatsoever. Really, really disappointed with Fleck. He had a good shot. Oh, he had the shot that cannoned off the player's hand. But he was just really poor for me. Sorry, for a second there, my screensaver went on. I thought it all gone. But yeah, for me, Fleck was awful. Then we've got strikers, obviously, and I thought Didzy was great. I thought he was all over the place. He was making things happen, but it wasn't quite coming off for him, and others really didn't help him around. Burke, again, first half, I thought he did really well. He always tires, and it's kind of pointless having Burke on the pitch when they've got so many men back. And the thing was, Birmingham, early on in the game, they were quite defensive, but at the same time, they were getting forward quite well. As soon as they went 1-0 up, 5 defenders and then 2 sitting. So it's 7 men that you're trying to break down, which is really, really tough. The fact that they got that goal really early on just really knackered us up, really. And then in the second half, 5 defenders and then 3 in front, sat in front. It was really difficult to break them down. Maybe a few months into the season, we would have done that. But Sheffield United have never been a team that's been great at breaking teams down. Mousse did okay, but I'm not going to say much more about Mousse because got injured. But a lot of the time, he was just trying to nick it round a defender, and it just wasn't coming off for him. Every time he was in a tight space with a defender, he lost it every time, which was pretty poor. So Brewster came on first. I agree with that. Or maybe I'd have brought McBurney on at half time because we were getting knocked about. McBurney would at least put him about a bit, give him something to worry about. But yeah, he brought on Brewster, and I thought Brewster was really lively. That goal is coming very, very soon, and Brewster needs to start the next game. Totally. Brewster and I don't know, maybe Sharp, maybe McBurney, but I don't think Burke should start the next game. I don't think, well, obviously Moose isn't going to start the next game. Brewster did well. He went down the left at one point and nearly created something. It ended up in the goalkeeper's hands. McBurney and Sharp came on at a similar time. Sharp just before, I believe. Sharp, he wasn't in the game. There wasn't anything for Sharp to feed on. But like I say, if there was a goal to be had, if it fell to someone, you wanted it to be Billy Sharp, and it would have been in the back of the net. But yeah, it's just one of them games where Sharpie was just, yeah, you bring him on because you hope that you're going to create that chance for him. But if it doesn't come, like, he's just kind of stood in the middle of the box waiting for it constantly. And it didn't come. It didn't come, not his own fault. McBurney put himself about, and that's what we want to see more of. If McBurney puts himself about, Bruce puts himself about, they will create chances for themselves. They will get goals, and that confidence will just come. So yeah, that's that from me. I'll quickly just run through some of the comments. Bloody hell, is this it? Is this what we're doing already, guys? Sell Brewster, Berger, and Ramsdale. What we're going to do with that? What we're going to do if we do that? That's a daft comment, mate. That is a daft comment. Where are we? Do not sell Berger. That would be a huge mistake. Absolutely. Brewster's over it. Come on, guys. Let's not be that negative. I've tried to be as as honest as possible, but let's not be too negative. You need a driving midfielder, and he is that. Absolutely, Jordan. Absolutely, mate. People have been wondering about what Burke is for years. Absolutely, completely agree, mate. So what you guys, Brewster for Lecco? Definitely not. Definitely, I've heard some bad things about Lecco recently. Burke was woeful. Fair enough. Fair enough. I thought he did okay in the first half. When did you need to be in 2 yards from touchline when throwing? The rest was, yes, he was. He was making up rules as it went along. Do you see that? I think that's what you're talking about, Ian. When he did the spray, and it's like he stood where the player that was throwing the ball in, where he was running from. He did like 10 steps and then put the line there. And it was like, that's not 10 yards. That's 10 yards from where he's running from. The line. But saying that, when I was a kid and played football, you don't get a lot of these throw-ins anymore. You don't have many players doing a Rory de Lap. So it's not seen as much anymore. But when I used to play football, you could stand there and just stand in front of the thrower. You could stand bang on the line. I don't know if you have to be 10 yards from the line anymore, but the referee didn't have a clue what he was doing. He was letting everything go. He was giving them fouls. He was giving us bookings for daft things. And obviously gave them a lot of bookings today, but they deserved it. They absolutely warranted it. Wow. Who is this, Jay? Gamer Jay. You need to get back to your games, mate. Going back down like Wolves did years ago. Get a grip, mate. Get a grip. McBurney will score against Swansea. Imagine if McBurney and Brewster both score against Swansea. They absolutely love them both. Imagine if that happened. We'll be okay in a month. We just need to play our way into match fitness. Absolutely. 2 games of pre-season, one of them being Europa Point. Come on. Like, Europa Point. No point in playing that game, really. We should have played Donny and then played a Premier League team. Yes, I know that it was going to be Norwich, but we should have moved heaven and earth to get a Premier League team for that second match. We still needed 4 or 5 games, though. But, yeah, it's one of them things. COVID's killed everything. But it's same for everybody else. It really is. Does anyone just miss VAR a little bit? To be honest, I did think that at one point, but no, it's not for us, guys. It's really not for us. But that's the Championship back with a bang, isn't it? No VAR, so straight away a handball that would have been given if we had VAR. We would have got a penalty for that one. Shocking refereeing decisions. Really, really physical team. That's Birmingham were the worst team that we could have played tonight in the first game because they were super physical, and I don't think we'll play a team as physical as that. Fair play to Birmingham fans, but I don't want to sound bitter, and that's why I'm doing this at 28 minutes in. But for me, I don't want to watch that football all season. If I was a Birmingham fan, I'd be like, I don't want to watch long throw-ins, corners, free kicks, big boots upfield. I want to see football. And I've got no doubt in my mind that we will finish above Birmingham. We just need to we need to put some wins together. We need to obviously get some points on the board, but we just need to get back playing well, quicker, faster football. And hopefully I want to see a few more signings, to be perfectly honest. So James says we'll go straight back up. I like your optimism, mate. Hi, mate. You're a legend. Hope you go up. Thank you very much, Luke. Appreciate that. Thoughts on the left side of the defence? I think I said earlier that I thought Ozzy wasn't... I'd rather see Ozzy in flex place and Norrington Davis at left back or Egan or Ender Stevens or even Max Lowe, maybe. Because Max Lowe is quite good going forward. He's shocking at defending, but he's quite good at going forward. So I want to see Ozzy in the midfield, and Fleck needs to book his ideas up because Fleck he's not playing for Chris Wilder anymore. He's playing for a brand new manager. If this manager is not seeing how good Fleck is, he's not going to be playing. So yeah, I don't know. Let's I think we should leave it there. Luke, hey, how's it going, mate? Good to see you. Hard to watch that. Is it just me who thought Norwood was extremely poor and predictable? Do you know what, Luke? I've not mentioned this actually. A lot of people have said that, and I actually thought the opposite. Not completely the opposite, but he dictated a lot of play, and that's what we want Norwood to do. I'm not sure whether he just didn't move it quite quick enough, or whether when he was playing these balls, the players that were receiving them weren't doing as much with them. But he was dictating play, and he wasn't doing that in the Premier League because, let's be honest, he's not quite good enough for the Premier League. But I think Norwood's going to have a big season. I really, really do. And he needs to be in there because we don't want to see Sander Berge playing as a defensive midfielder doing that Norwood role. We want to see Sander Berge further up the field, affecting play, where we could possibly score some goals from the runs that he's making, or maybe he could score a goal. Maybe he could get brought down, create something. So I think it's a big year for Norwood, because if it doesn't go right, he could be moved on next season. So this is a big year for him, but I don't think that he was terrible. I really, really don't think he was. Chong was absolutely phenomenal tonight. Phenomenal. That's what I want to see our midfielders doing. And unfortunately, I don't think our midfielders have got that bite like most Championship midfielders have. Regan Slater, it's a possibility that he could come in and offer that bite, because we know that he's got a good tackle in him. He'll track players. It feels like we've got 3 players that are good footballers, don't get me wrong, but aren't going to get stuck in and are just going to get bullied. So let's hope that's not the case. And I think it's possibly time to leave it there. We've gone way over what I wanted to do. But thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate you all being here. 200 people in the stream. Overall, that's brilliant. That's what I love to see. Make sure you like the video before you go. It really helps out the video, and hopefully, very, very soon we will pick up that first win. Fingers crossed. Thanks for watching. Up the blades.